Up Paleo, where we talk all things nutrition straight up. I'm one of your hosts, Christina Rice. I'm a holistic health coach, nutritional therapy practitioner in training, and the creator of the Paleo Women Lifestyle Program. You can find me on my website and blog, ChristinaRiceWellness.com, as well as on my other podcast, Wellness Realness.
And I'm your other host, Kara Halderman. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner from Dallas, Texas, NLP master practitioner and mindset coach, and creator of careaboutit.com. In this podcast, we'll be discussing all things paleo, health, and nutrition, along with answering questions straight from you.
If you'd like to submit a question for us to answer on the podcast, head to straightuppaleo.com or email us at straightuppaleo@gmail.com.
Remember our disclaimer. Materials in this podcast are only to be used as advice and are not to be used in place of general medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
If you want to support the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a rating and a review on iTunes. Enjoy the show! Sup, Kara?
Hi, sup, happy Sunday. It's
Happy
actually
Thursday.
Sunday.
I know it is Sunday.
It's 2 days in one right now.
Yeah, guys, we are recording a lot in advance because we have both of us have a crazy next month or so. So we have to, bump up the recording. So we have things ready for you. And as we record this, later this week, we'll see each other. But when this comes out, we will have been back from Austin already, right?
Paleo FX. I'm so
It's going to be so fun. So I'm sure by now you'll already know how that went if you follow us on social media.
I think there's a thread in our Facebook group about people that are going to Paleo FX. I think somebody asked that question, but I didn't see who responded or anything. So if you're actually going to Paleo FX and you listen to this, you should join our Facebook group, Straight Up Paleo Pals, and find that thread because I want to meet you guys there.
Well, it'll be too late by the time they hear this.
Oh.
It'll be over.
I'm so behind. I don't even know what day it is. I know nothing. I know.
So,
Never
that's
mind,
happening.
Guys. I'll just hopefully see you there.
Hope we saw you. But yeah, so it's Sunday. What's new? Tell me what's happening.
Well, it's been usual or whatever, but this weekend has been super interesting, super fun. And I went to from work the other night. It was an EDM concert. Also, RIP Avicii. I'm extremely saddened by the fact
that was a shocker.
I couldn't believe that. Like somebody told me that at work, because everyone knows I'm like a huge EDM fan. Like that's kind of all I listen to is EDM and electronic music. Somebody texted me and told me that Avicii died. I literally had to leave. Like for a second, I couldn't believe it. And I don't get affected. I don't know. I'm not the type of person that gets affected when musicians die or when celebrities die. Or, like, you know what I mean? You know how some people get super upset and like cry? I wasn't that upset, but I was like, wow, I can't believe he died. He was so young.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's really crazy.
He was 28. He probably did too many drugs though.
Probably.
But yeah, I went to a EDM concert. I drank way too much. I feel like I have to do that every now and then to remind myself why I don't drink alcohol like that. Like it's a great reminder when you overdo it. And I was a useless human being yesterday because I felt so crappy and hungover. I just stayed in bed all day long and watched movies and like drank tea. That was all I did. And yeah,
that sounds pretty nice to me though.
It was nice. But I didn't feel like, I just felt terrible. I had a headache for the whole entire day. And so I was just overdosing on turmeric the whole day. Like, please fight this inflammation in my body. And I felt like a piece of garbage. But then I woke up today and I was like, oh, I'm good now. And Corey and I, we went on a nice walk through Arbor Hills, which is like a nature preserve. We did that. And then we decided to go to the mall because we're going to Hawaii in May. And I own basically no bathing suits because I've talked about this before, but back when I like had my issues with thyroid stuff in the beginning and I gained a bunch of weight, like 20 pounds, I refused to buy a bathing suit. So I didn't really have one. I still don't have one, but I went to Aerie today to go try on bathing suits because I just love their whole campaign and their ad. Like I went onto their website and they use models like, isn't her name Isakara or something like that? Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't know anything that's relevant in real life because
Okay.
I'm a hermit.
Well, I
Don't
follow
ask me
her.
anything.
Some of y'all probably know, but she is this huge, like, I hate calling them plus size models, but like she's considered a plus size model, but she models for Aerie. And I was on their website and I saw her and they actually use girls that they just look like normal girls. You know what I mean? Like they're not trying to look like models or anything like that and of all sizes. So I love their campaign. I was like, I'm just going to go into the mall and go into their store. And I went to go try on bathing suits, BT Dubs. They have really cute bathing suits. So if you need one, go in there. And you know how you kind of always dread trying on bathing suits and going into the dressing room and you're just like, ugh, I don't even want to see what this is going to look like. Well, that was my initial thought. I'm just kind of like, I don't want to go in. And then I go into the dressing room and there were these sticky notes just covering all of the mirrors. And I was like, what is this? And I started reading them and it said really awesome messages. It was like, you're beautiful. Your size doesn't matter. Love yourself. Like you look gorgeous, all of that stuff. And I felt super overwhelmed in the beginning because I was like, oh my God, I've never seen this in a store in my entire life. And it just made me super happy. And it actually made me feel way more confident when I put on my bathing suit and tried it on. I was like, yeah, you're right, mirror. Like this does look good, whatever. And it wasn't as scary and daunting. And it was just a really cool experience. And for them, honestly, it's probably great marketing. They probably sell a lot more swimsuits than a lot of other stores because of that positive marketing. And when you see those messages on the mirror while you're trying something on, it kind of gets like ingrained into your head and it makes you want to go back and like try on more stuff. So they're doing really great things in terms of marketing and helping their sales with bathing suits, but also just for the clothing and bathing suit industry too. I thought it was just an awesome message. I posted about it on my stories because I loved it. And I think more dressing rooms need some sort of positive message in it of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
It was really
I think
cool.
that's awesome. Dressing rooms can be an interesting place, and there's people don't even realize like all the tricks they try and play on you in there. Even with the lighting, like they make it lighted a certain way for certain reasons, But that's awesome they're doing that.
What Diane Sanfilippo posted about like
Yeah.
Lululemon, about their dressing room. She was like posting about how their lighting brings out like all of your cellulite and dimples and flaws and how she like left in tears. I wonder why would they have that lighting? Like that must not work well for them.
I mean, it works well. I mean, it goes both ways. It's like Brandy Melville is like the opposite. But I mean, lighting can be made, it can be bad lighting so that you feel like you look good and everything, and then you want to buy everything, or good, whatever. I don't know what if you determine bad or good, or like the lighting that makes you not look good so that you feel bad about yourself, and then you're trying to aspire to be like these girls that you're seeing in the magazines. And it's creating this ideal. But I think also you bring up a good point about a lot of these plus size models. I mean, the fact, like, this is what you have to realize. Most regular models are underweight. And then they're calling these women who are just not underweight plus sized. Mm-hmm. And they're not plus sized. You know what I mean?
I just don't like the term. Why can't just, models be models and there doesn't have to be a size.
Yeah, exactly.
Different, can't we just call everyone a model that wants to be one? But I guess for industry's sake, they have to separate it, which is really weird.
I mean, that whole industry is a little skewed, so it's hard. Yeah, it's a little crazy, but that's awesome.
It was cool.
I actually did bunch of shopping too, except I'm not in a store. I just ordered this is what I always do. I order 50 things and then I try them all on here at in my apartment, and then I just return them all because Nordstrom has the best return policy. But I ordered a bunch of stuff from Forever 21 and Nordstrom because honestly, 2 reasons. I have a few things coming up that I need normal person clothes for. And also I just keep having to go to events and I have nothing. I literally just wear leggings and a t-shirt every day. And I was like, I need to have some things, especially that it's getting hot. Because I always have a problem during shorts season, when it's really hot here in LA and I don't have AC or anything in here. And I just like to wear dresses because I hate wearing pants. I'll just do anything to avoid wearing pants. So I bought a ton of dresses, and actually almost everything except for 2 things I'm keeping, which was very impressive. And I'm getting rid of them just because I don't need them, not even because they don't fit. So I lucked out, but now I'm all good I have something for my sister's bridal shower. I have a bunch of random dresses to just look like a normal person. So I will be set for when it gets hot here in LA. I'm very excited that I got normal person clothes.
It's really exciting when all you wear is leggings and t-shirts and then you buy cute stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Feel like a girl again.
My problem though is I hate wearing regular bras. I do not want to wear anything but a sports bra. So that's what I hate, but we'll see. I mean, also the other thing is I always wear dresses, but then I feel like half of them are too short, but I'm just whatever. Sorry if you see my butt. It's
whatever.
Fine.
We're in our 20s. We can do that sort of thing.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want, right? So yeah, that's good. So a few things. First of all, my low sulfur diet has gone. I didn't send you the pictures, did I?
No.
I have some really crazy before and after photos, and I cannot even believe how much better I feel. I don't want to admit how much better it made me feel. My inflammation went down considerably, my wrist, I went down a notch in my Fitbit. My rings, my fingers went, all my inflammation went down. A lot of my brain fog, just I don't have brain fog anymore. My bloating, I haven't, I'm not bloated.
I have to see these pictures.
It's pretty insane. I forgot. I can't believe I didn't send them to you. I thought I did. But yeah, it's really insane. So that was really interesting. But I mean, I kind of knew that was going to happen. And this is the thing. I went to, I don't want to talk about it too much. Because it was it's something that I want to keep to myself, but I went to a medium energy healer here in Los Angeles. She's very well renowned. It's cost me an arm and a leg. I spent a lot of money on it and I've been very excited about it. And I was recommended to her by my functional medicine doctor who sends his patients to her and he goes to her, and she's just supposed to be life-changing. And it was my first time speaking with her. She was amazing. And I'm not supposed to post about it or talk about her because if too many people look her up, or if she gets too much, it just floods her with too much energy and then she can't do readings basically. But we talked about a lot, and I guess the relevant stuff was when we started, I basically was just okay, I want to move on to my health. And she goes, okay. And she basically just sits there and is writing down words that are coming to her and what she's seeing and what my guides are telling her. And I don't say anything, I just and she's okay. And she writes down a bunch of stuff. And then she goes, okay, the first word I see here is autoimmunity. And I was okay. And she goes, you have a lot of autoimmunity. And she's working through this as we're talking. And she goes, okay, I have celiac coming up over and over. And she goes, I also have sulfur allergy coming up over and over. I have heavy metals coming up. It looks like you have a lot of heavy metals and you have a really big problem with sulfur. And then she goes, I see something also coming up. She goes, do you know what low FODMAP is? Like, she didn't know what, and I was like, you mean FODMAP? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I see that popping up too. They're saying you're gonna need to do something with the sulfur and the FODMAPs. And then she said, I also see adaptogens popping up, and she listed out 4 different adaptogens, and 2 of them, I knew. She was like ashwagandha, reishi, and then there's 2 others that I had never heard of, and she hadn't heard of them either. And she was like, have you heard of those? And I go, no. And she goes, okay, I don't know either, but those are the words I'm seeing, so I'll just write it down so you can look it up later. And like, I mean, it was crazy. It was, and she goes, I also see dormant Epstein-Barr. She goes, did you have a really bad case of mono? And I was like, yeah.
Dude,
and
nuts. Yeah.
So it was really, really interesting. And also just like helped me piece together things. So the situation where I'm at is basically like, after I get back from Austin, I'm going to be doing treatment for hydrogen sulfide SIBO. And also going to do some heavy metal detox. So that's basically my plan from here on out.
Dude, sounds like a good, I can't believe that. That's insane. I mean, I believe it. I totally am into all that stuff. I believe it. But it's cool to get like outside answers kind of validating what you thought was wrong. So it can be, that's why I really think like everyone needs some sort of outside help, like whether that's some like spiritual help or whatever emotional help besides the food part, because you need someone to validate what you're already feeling, like validate your intuition. I feel like that's exactly what she did for you.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's also hard for me is like a lot of my journey has been a lot of just like open questions and not many answers.
Right.
And for her, and what she kept saying was, she said, the guides are telling me they want you to know that you're not crazy, that even though nothing's out about this is happening and it's real. And I just started crying because I was like, okay, thank you. Because that's kind of what it feels like when you're dealing with something like, for me, like hydrogen sulfide SIBO, there's hardly anything out there. There's been no research on it. There's no test for it. Like, people don't know what to do. And so
how are you going to be treated for that? Like, how do you know?
I mean, I've compiled everything I can, like, and I'm doing it myself, like, just like off of everything that I'm putting together and piecing together myself. Like, I have spent the last few weeks just like down the research rabbit hole and just like piecing together what I can. And I'm just going to try and do it myself because I'm not going to like give up just because there's not much out there about it. And she just kept, and so when it's something like that, it's easy to feel like, okay, I'm making it up because it's not well known, you know? And also when you bring this up to other practitioners and they don't know about it, a lot of times people just shove aside what they're not familiar with or what they don't know how to handle, instead of either saying, I don't know, it's happening, but I don't know what to do, or I don't know, but I'm going to try and figure it out. Most people just kind of shove it aside because it's easier. And so it's hard when like practitioners like, let's just focus on everything else that we do know and ignore that when this is the crux of the issue. So it was just very interesting for me. And like, I mean, it was funny because my session, I did a 90-minute session, and like we spent like 5 minutes on health stuff. Like the rest was everything else, you know? Cause I didn't really care. Like, that's not really why I went, but I was very curious cause she was just giving me all these answers and all this clarity. So I was just like, okay, can we talk about my health or like what's going on? But it was just very, very interesting. And she was like, she said that like my guides were saying like that I knew what to do and I just needed to follow it. And that my plan is like what I should be doing for that. So that like gave me more confidence, I guess.
Exactly. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really awesome.
Yeah. It was really awesome.
More clarity.
I do have more clarity. Yeah. So
I'm clapping
very
over
interesting.
here.
But how crazy is it? Like, she doesn't she's a I don't think she understands all the differences between allergies and intolerances and all this stuff. And people also like she's just explaining what's being communicated to her and what she's like getting from my soul and my guides. And it's not like people can go see energy healers or mediums, and like sometimes what happens is connected to what they said, but not exactly. They're like, you know what I mean? Like their purpose isn't to sit there and tell you this is what's happening in the future for sure. You know, it's like just like what's being communicated to them. People misconstrue that. It's just like what's being communicated in like as things as you are now. What is your energy putting out? And I mean, how crazy is it that she literally pulled sulfur allergy out
out of thin air? That's
and
amazing.
I'm not like I'm not allergic to sulfur, but I'm definitely intolerant to too much. And if I have heavy metals, and I've tested for heavy metals, and I told her that. I was like, I've tested for heavy metals, and she goes, it missed it. She goes, you need a different test.
I mean, yeah, we all know how accurate testing is. It's not 100% thing. Mm-hmm. That's just amazing. I really find all that kind of work super interesting because I feel like there's two different types of energy healing. It's people that go off of more intuition, so to speak, and like they kind of go off the gut feelings that they get and like the knowing that they get from your energy. Or there's the people that are literally receiving outward information, like it's not from their own. And so that's kind of what do you think is that kind of more of her style? Like she's literally receiving information from like spirit guides or whatever.
She's like talking to my guides.
Interesting. That's so interesting to me. I'm like fascinated. I want to talk to you more about that after this. That's really cool.
It's really cool. And it's like, I know this might, I guess I forget when I say stuff like this, not everybody has experiences with this. So, I mean, I have lived in LA for a while, and mediums, energy healers, this isn't abnormal out here. And I have a lot of experience with this type of thing because I worked for Jordan from the Balanced Blonde, and she's very spiritual, and like, I was at so many different, I witnessed it a lot, but have never really invested that much into doing that for myself. It was more of just like me being around this and talking to different healers, but never having like a session. Like they're very expensive, and like I would be at some of Jordan's sessions. And so I'm like not unfamiliar with this kind of stuff. So I forget that to other people, this might sound really woo-woo. But until you see it and meet people in real life, like you can tell the difference between, trust me, there are a million people out here who are like this. You couldn't tell the difference between somebody who is legit and somebody who's BSing.
BSing,
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people make this sound a lot more woo than it actually is. Like, that's the thing. Like, there are a bunch of words that people use that just make it sound like super mystic. But when it comes down to it, it's actually not as mystic as you think it is. Like, it's hard to explain, but like all of this energy healing and stuff like that, like it's moving physical matter. Like when you go to an energy healer, like energy has been shown through science to basically be like physical matter. Like we are all made of energy. Like your freaking table is energy. So what you're doing is moving energy like with intent. That's what energy healers are doing. They're taking the matter in your body that you can't see, and they're using intent, and they're like moving it. And it's also been shown that intention can change energy. There's this amazing documentary. I think it's called it's something about water, but it's called like the healing properties of water or something like that. I'll have to look it up and put it in the show notes because it's freaking awesome. But they did this study in Japan or in some Asian country where they got distilled water and they tested its crystallization of the water. Like they froze it and they looked at it, and they saw that water in countries that were like really in despair, or the people there have gone through a lot of trouble and hardship, it didn't crystallize. Like the water didn't crystallize. But then when there's water that was like from other countries that are known for being really happy, really happy people, the crystals of the water were just beautiful. So they did these experiments where they talked to the water, like they just sat around and they talked to the water. They said things like, I love you, thank you, I forgive you, like speaking words like that. And they literally watched the water change from being uncrystallized to growing beautiful crystals when it was frozen. So it just proves that water actually responds to thoughts, and water
Yeah.
responds to words. So we are made of 60% water, like our physical bodies. And just imagine like what you're doing to that water in your body with the thoughts. You know what I mean? In your words.
Well, yeah, they've also shown that the difference in the water between, for example, holy water that's been blessed versus just regular water. So if you look at the crystallization in between those two types of water, you know, like water at church that's been blessed is totally different than just your drinking water, which is pretty crazy. But I mean, I feel that's why the past 2 days, I have felt very strange because the entire energy in my body has completely shifted. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I can't even, in the way I have been, I can't even articulate it. Like, Kara knows. I mean, I made a to-do list yesterday with 3 things on it.
Whoa, hold on. Proud of you.
And I was just like, I was just so calm and chill. And then today I woke up and I was just kind of like, oh, maybe I'll do this. I don't even know. It's so weird. I feel so much calmer. And something she also helped me with is just like, you know, a lot of the vibrations that are coming to me are really intense and too much for me to handle. And she was talking a lot about how just like I have to draw these boundaries because it's really affecting me with everybody getting a hold of me via email and text and DM and message, like always feeling inundated. And she was like, I'm going to make it so that you're not getting these negative frequencies to you anymore. Like, I don't want the people who drain you to be coming your way. And I was like, okay. And I have not gotten an annoying DM in 12 hours.
Heck yeah. I don't know what she did, but cool.
I mean, I don't know if it'll stay like that, but I mean, I don't know. I just feel like very oddly relaxed. Like in my mind, I know I should be doing this and that and like studying and stressed about that, but I don't feel it anymore. So then I'm confused.
Yeah. She cleared something. She moved some sort of energy and like you feel it in your body. I know a physical way like that you can put up like an energy barrier. It's called gridding. Have you heard of like doing gridding before? It's when you take stones, you can do it with either stones or quarters or pennies or whatever. And you can do it around your workplace. So in my office, I have 4 corners in my office and you basically put stones or coins in 4 corners. So you're making a grid. And when you put them there, you literally like speak into existence with the intent that you are filtering out only the energy that will like bring you positivity and being uplifted and whatever you want out of that space to come through, and you're blocking out the energy. So you're creating like an energy grid. And once again, that's why it all sounds kind of woo-woo and weird, but really it all just has to come back with intent and like your intention. And when you place intent into physical objects, it actually makes it real. Like it becomes real. I don't even know how to explain it, but it works. I love all these little techniques.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we didn't go over gridding, but she did teach me some different techniques and sent me home with some stones and stuff. So I have some things to help me. So that was good.
Yay. I love that.
But yeah.
I was going to say I cleaned my room the other day, speaking of my room, and literally I lifted up my sheet from under my bed to go vacuum, and there was just a pile of SomniFix wrappers.
Oh my God.
Underneath my bed. I just need a freaking trash can in my room, but I can't. I turn the lights off at night, I rip it open, and I just throw it on the ground. And I guess I'm throwing my SomniFix wrappers under the bed, and I just found a massive pile of them, and I was totally ashamed, but also not ashamed because sleep is important, and I will do that when needed.
You need to put them on in the bathroom like I do. So you just throw it in that trash can.
Okay, but it's hard because whenever Corey stays over at my house, we like to talk. Like, we just get in bed and we just kind of talk for a little bit. And so if I did that, I'd be like, it would have to be mean, like, okay, we can't talk, shut up, like, we're going to bed. So that's why I keep them in my room. But man, I'm just going to get a trash can.
Yeah, well, you gotta do just like, you gotta do the thing when, you know, like when we were together, I'd be like, all right, SomniFix is going on. We can't talk anymore.
That's what we do. That's like, what we usually do. I'm like, okay, are you done talking? Because I'm going to put my SomniFix on.
Oh my God. Okay, you guys. If you guys haven't used the SomniFix yet, you seriously need to. You can get 10% off if you use the code SUPSLEEP, SUPSLEEP. Mouth taping is going to change your life. And I just love when people tell me their experience with it. Everybody's like, I wasn't sure about this to begin with, and now my life has changed and I cannot go back to not mouth taping. And I'm like, yes, like I literally cannot sleep without it. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And I get such deep sleep. I wake up so rested. And I honestly think it has a huge impact on me just throughout the day. Like, because my sleep is so good and it has all those other benefits like immunity, focus, concentration, all the things. So you guys, you need to check out SomniFix. And then somebody the other day told me, she was like, I saw SomniFix had a booth. She was at, where was she? I forget, some expo. And I thought of you and I was like, did you get any? She goes, no, I'm afraid. And I go, don't be afraid, because there is a little mouth vent in front. Like there's a breathing vent. So it's like, if you're first getting started, you can breathe. Like it's fine. And you can also always just open your mouth and pop it open. It doesn't hurt because it's specially designed to like just come on and off. So you're fine. And then she was like, okay, fine, I'll try it. So there is a breathing vent.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. It's become like a serious staple in my nighttime routine, and I feel weird without it now. And I notice once you get past that couple week or however long acclimation period of just having something on your mouth, you actually notice a difference in your sleep quality. I didn't have any the past couple nights because I haven't been at my house and I just forgot to bring it, but I'm about to just keep a box at Corey's house just to have it designated there. But I haven't had it for the past couple nights. And then I got back in my own bed last night and I put on the SomniFix. I woke up this morning feeling so refreshed. It's like you just forget how deep of sleep you can get until you can get your body into that parasympathetic state and really get into deep sleep. So it's just become a huge staple in my nighttime routine, and I don't ever want to go without it. And it's easier to open now.
Yeah, they're great. Also, Mother's Day is coming up, and if your mother snores like mine, sorry, Mom, then you should really hook her up with some SomniFix mouth tape. So you can get yours at somnifix.com or amazon.com and use the code SUPSLEEP for 10% off, and you will not regret it. I promise.
Do it. All right.
Do it. Should we hop into questions?
Let's get into the cues.
All right. Let's get into the cues.
We're both like searching.
Do you want to read it or should I read it?
I'll read it. This one is from Carolyn. She first she had a paragraph like recommending a guest for our show. So I won't read that part. But then she said, on a different note, I'm preparing to leave for Madagascar as a volunteer for the Peace Corps. I'm curious how you guys would handle a dramatic... Oh, she typed it wrong.
No, that's how you spell it.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's how you spell it.
Guys, I'm notorious for one, bad spelling and bad pronunciation. Why would they spell it like that?
That's how they spell it. This is so funny. I'm really good at spelling and
Yeah,
stuff.
you
I was
are.
cracking up the other day. Kelly, our intern, she's going to kill me she was freaking out because she found out that sriracha was spelled SRI. Yeah. And she was like, did anyone know this? And I was like, oh my God, Kelly. Like, yes, okay, whatever.
Well,
Side note.
I can't believe I just said fucking Peace Corps. Anyways, Peace. Why would you spell it like that? Anyways, whatever. She's leaving for Madagascar, okay? And she's curious how we would handle a dramatic change in food options and minimal budget, a lack of meat, no refrigeration or oven, and less control over your diet. What things would you prioritize to maintain health? She said, I know some exceptions apply for both of you because you have severe food intolerances. So yeah, this is basically just about like travel and dealing with extreme situations with food. So you travel a lot. I'm going to hand this over to you.
I mean, I travel, but I definitely don't travel anywhere like Madagascar.
No.
And I know being in the Peace Corps is different. So I have never been in a situation where I've had to travel like, I always hear about people going to other countries, and I've never been in a situation like this. And I also don't know your situation to the extent that it is. So we'll kind of break this down into levels. But I mean, first of all, I don't know what you're allowed to bring with you. I think I also give this advice to people. People ask about if they have husbands in the military or stuff, what they could send them. But I think if you could just have some things with you, like nuts, I would bring a lot of nuts and seeds, raw organic nuts and seeds, maybe some like beef jerky sticks, like some really high quality beef jerky sticks. Sorry, I can't talk. Nut butter packets if you can. I don't know if you could bring canned fish with you. That would be awesome. That one might be a little harder to do. Or like Epic bars, things like that can be good just to have with you so you have those sources. But while you're there, I think that what I focus on is like keeping things simple. And I mean, I've had this when I've traveled before, and this is any situation you're in. I just always look for vegetables and protein. And you also, you just have to make the best out of your situation. So I think that the best thing is to try and keep things simple. So I avoid like sauces, like all this extra stuff, and try and get things either steamed or baked or raw, because you don't know what they're baking or cooking in. Probably, if it's a really questionable protein source, I would keep more to vegetables and pull out some nuts that you have with you. But I also think that part of it is kind of like embracing the culture. Like if I was in a situation where all I could eat there was rice and protein, I would eat rice. For me, I would never, I'm not going to say never, but like I would not have, like I definitely would not have gluten. Like that's my number one, like I won't have gluten. And that is what I would prioritize. But, maybe you eat a paleo style diet, but there are definitely times when you're traveling and like different life experiences where like, maybe this is the time to incorporate some more like grains and legumes. Like test it and see if it works. Like it's, because you don't want to go hungry. Like if there's no protein, all you have is vegetables. You can't live off of that, or what if there's no vegetables? Like what if all you have are like rice and beans? Like what can you do to make the most of it? Can you suggest, are you cooking it yourself? Can you soak it before? Can you can you keep it plain? Like making the best of that situation, but this is also part of traveling and embracing cultures and like learning how ancient cultures, live, like if there's still some of that in the culture. But for me, I just try and like focus on like what in front of me, can I get vegetables in? Can I get a good source of protein in? I want to avoid the sauces. I want to get things just cooked totally plain or raw. And keeping nuts and seeds with me so I can supplement with that. if I'm worried about the source of the meat, I would go for a leaner cut because the toxins tend to be in the fat. But also you might find it's really different because when you're in America, we have so much poor quality proteins. But a lot of times, like if you're in another culture and you're literally getting stuff off of a farm from animals that are raised right there, then and you can like they're raised humanely and they're fed grass, like then it could be so healthy. Like you might be surprised. I have found a lot of people have this experience that it's much easier to eat out in other places than it is in America. Like it's like not that hard to eat healthy. And I had that experience when I was abroad, but I also don't know anything about Madagascar. I'm just going to say that. So
I know nothing except for the movie Madagascar with all the animals. Like, and I'm like, is that what it's like? No, I don't know. I don't know. I think those are all great suggestions. And it sounds like to me that she doesn't really have a lot of issues because she's like, I know that you guys have severe food intolerances. So I don't know if that means like I have severe food intolerances too, or she's just saying like, I know you guys have food intolerances and I don't. But I personally think that this is a great opportunity for you to let go of control. It sounds like you really want to like control this situation, or you have a part of you that really wants to control this in some way. And I think this is just a great exercise for you to take this time and like let go and focus on something else other than food. You're going over to Madagascar to volunteer in the Peace Corps. Like this should not be a time about food for you. This is a time about volunteering and doing things for other people. And this is a time to like nourish your soul, helping others. So you don't need to focus on the food, especially if you're fine. Like, especially if you're healthy, you can have a couple boundaries and ground rules. And I think it's important to set some boundaries, but this is a great time to exercise your mindset and just kind of going with the flow. Like when I went to Mexico, I'm not gonna lie, Mexico has good food. Like you can get kind of whatever sort of dietary needs you need if you're in a nice resort in Mexico. But me, being like a stickler about food quality and oils and all of that stuff, I could have easily gone absolutely nuts asking like what was in every little bit of food. And I did that in the beginning, but it was cramping my style. Like it was ruining my vacation. And I was annoyed because I wasn't getting the answers that I wanted, blah, blah, blah. And after the first or second day of doing that, I was like, F it. I'm just going to make sure it's gluten-free and that's all I care about, and I'm just going to do it. And then my vacation became so much more fun once I just let go of the control and I focused on being there with my boyfriend in Mexico, and that made the vacation so much better. So I don't even think that you need to worry. Like, just focus on getting your main food groups, if you can, just a complete sort of meal. If you have to eat rice or beans or whatever they eat down there, then do it and don't fret. I also think it could be, though, beneficial if you bring a couple things. Supplement-wise, I don't know how long you're going to be there, and I don't know if they let you bring supplements. And I don't know, like, how that all works.
I don't know either, yeah.
Yeah, but if you can, I recommend getting a really good multivitamin because I don't know I don't know how many vegetables you can get. I don't know what you eat currently, but maybe a really good multivitamin, like just a basic one, like the Garden of Life type of multivitamin is great, just to make sure that you're getting all of your nutrients in, because you need your immune system to be like in tip-top shape when you're in another country. That can be really good. Maybe a greens powder. If you do really well with greens powder, they make little travel-sized greens powders now. Like, I really like the Organifi one. Christina bought that for me one time, and I really like it. Tastes really great. So bring a greens powder if you can't get in enough veggies. Maybe bring some sticks of collagen peptides or like travel protein powder packs if you can't get the meat that you want and you're like worried about protein. And maybe some digestive enzymes if you're worried about the food affecting your gut, and like a probiotic. Those are just kind of some staples because you're in another country. You're going to be exposed to other bacteria as well. And you just want to make sure that your gut is in tip-top shape. So a multivitamin, a greens powder, digestive enzymes, and a probiotic. And I really think that you're going to be okay as long as you have a good mindset around the food and just know that you're not there to eat. You're kind of there on a mission, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
I also thought of something else. I don't know the name, but they gave this out of the Good Fest in the goodie bags, and it's like freeze dried cauliflower and broccoli, like rice.
no.
And yeah, and I'm like, if you could just pack a bunch of that could be like veggies for you to have. It's really awesome. Like I have it just sitting in my pantry. It's been there for a while. So stuff like that could be really helpful too. But I think that
That's cool.
You know, like we both said, the way in which you digest food, like our emotional state completely changes the way we digest food. So things that you might feel like you react to here, you might not at all there when you're just like in the moment, enjoying it, grateful for the food and like embracing it. Also, the sourcing is very different in different places, but I just think that whatever food situation you have in front of you, it's the same approach that I recommend you take when you're here. Like when you're in the US, or when you're going out to a friend's house, when you're going to a restaurant that you don't know what to eat at, it's like, okay, survey the situation. Is there a source of protein here? What is the source? Is there something questionable on it? Can I just get it plain? Can I just get it baked or steamed? Can I just get it plain? There we have. Are there any vegetables? Can I get those plain? You know, like, are there no vegetables? Okay. At least I'm getting my protein. Is there any source of fat? I think also something that I did, like, if you can get there and get your hands on some avocados, I think those are great to bring with you everywhere.
Oh yeah.
If you could just like go to the store and like get yourself an arsenal, or if you can't bring these things, like try and find somewhere where you can get your hands on like some type of olive oil, you know, some type of cooking oil, and some nuts and seeds, and like canned fish. Like when I went to Spain last time, I remember I immediately went to the store and I bought like 10 cans of fish, like just so I had a protein source, and I just kept it in my bag with me. And then you always have that. So that's kind of like the situation. That's what I would suggest. I think that you will be pleasantly surprised. I think it'll be easier than you expect.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. And like we were just saying, it really has to do with the mindset around the food too. Because if you think you're going to react to something, you probably will. Just saying.
Yeah.
If you think it's not going to digest with you, it probably won't. So maybe work on your mindset around the food too. And like she said, you'll be surprised. I think you'll do really well. And that's all I got.
Yeah. And just again, congratulations on going to
super cool.
Madagascar for the Peace Corps. That's awesome. I am very excited for you, and thank you for doing that. So that's cool. Okay. Should we move on?
Yes. Do you want to do the last question?
Yeah, I'll read this one. So this is from Rachel. She says, what do you mean by inflammation weight? I think you mentioned this in a previous episode. I don't personally carry much extra weight, but I guess I'm not sure how to tell if it's fat or inflammation or something else. I'm not personally looking for a diagnosis or anything. I just don't know about the different kinds of weight you could carry besides the obvious muscle, fat, fluid, etc. My other question is about exercise. I have no previous eating exercise disorders and feel genuinely confident and comfortable in my body 99% of the time. I eat healthy and work out because it makes me feel good. How do I know if I exercise too much? From some of the discussions on the podcast, it seems like I may do what is considered to be too much from your perspective, but it's what feels good to me. Am I potentially doing harm to my body that I don't know about? She's 5'6", lean, athletic, but curvy, weighs about 130, but doesn't weigh herself, eats almost exclusively whole, real foods. I work out 5 to 6 days a week, a combination of yoga, hiking, weights, and HIIT, all because I want to, never guilting myself into it. AKA, some weeks I'm tired or busy and I don't work out that much and I'm okay with it. Thanks so much. All right. You want to talk about the inflammation weight stuff first?
Yeah. So I know what inflammation weight feels like in my body. It may feel different for you, but yes, there's like a couple different types of weight. You mentioned it. There's muscle, there's fat, and then there's an accumulation of fluid. Now, I'll say this, if you are overweight, like you're actually truly overweight, not just like you are carrying around some weight, that you don't desire to have, but like truly overweight, then that is inflammation weight. I think like unnecessary weight gain is a response to inflammation. It is your body trying to protect you from something, and you're going to gain weight because you are inflamed. So I'll put that out there. But also, I feel a distinct difference between when I just have more fat on my body than when I'm actually inflamed. And I feel like that is more of a fluid issue. When you, like for me personally, when I would like drink, I know I was drinking a lot more alcohol than I normally did when I had a lot of inflammation weight, like even just once a week. That's way too much than I need to be drinking alcohol. So, and I was eating a lot more grains, and I was very stressed out, and I just felt very inflamed. And what that felt like to me was fluid. And it felt like it was accumulating like around my joints and in my legs. And it felt really just like puffy. So that's kind of how I explain inflammation weight, is you just feel puffy. You can actually tell a difference from when you have body fat and when you're puffy. I feel like body fat feels more like heavy on your body, and puffiness feels like you're springy and like there is something in you, like you have air, like almost in your body. You can feel it and it's uncomfortable. Now you can carry around excess body fat and be uncomfortable, but I'm talking like you are straight up uncomfortable with this weight on your body. For instance, like when I'm inflamed, my face swells up sometimes, which I know is due to thyroid stuff for me personally, but like my face swells and it does not feel like fat on my face. It feels like puffy inflammation, air, fluid, something like that. So I think you just kind of have to gauge it. Like, are you uncomfortable with this weight on your body? And if it's uncomfortable, then it's most likely due to inflammation. But it's honestly really hard to tell. You can also tell by looking at pictures of yourself. I know it sounds kind of weird, but maybe do like a before and after picture. So like if you feel like you are inflamed and you're having a hard time deciding like this is inflammation weight, take a picture of yourself when you feel quote unquote inflamed and where you feel inflamed. And then, I don't know, wait a couple days, see if it goes down or anything like that, or if anything changes. And if it does change and you go back to normal, take a picture of that too, and then compare the two. Or just take a picture of yourself every day. I did that for a little bit because I would have really bad face swelling. And this was in the beginning of all my thyroid stuff. And I could, oh man, when I look back at those old pictures, I knew that was inflammation weight because I could see it. It just looks puffy. That's really the only word I have to explain it. You just look puffy and swollen. You don't look fat, you look swollen. It's very different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Have you experienced like inflammation weight?
Yeah, I think that that's the best way to explain it. And I also think that's a part of it. I almost feel like I couldn't understand the difference or tell the difference until I experienced it, until I was very inflamed and then lost the inflammation. And I could tell I didn't lose weight because I had extra weight to lose. It's also easier, like, I didn't have weight to lose. I was never like overweight, but I lost weight, and then I looked back and I go, I was like puffy and swollen before. I really is swollen. And like, to understand it, I mean, think about it like this. If you break your ankle, all of a sudden it swells up. That's inflammation. And your ankle looks like it gained weight, like it looks fatter. Your ankle is swollen. That's not like your ankle just got like chubby. You didn't just get fat, but your ankle is swollen. You know what I mean?
Cankles all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's the difference. And so it's really almost like the root cause, like weight. Like if it's increased weight because you gained more muscle or because you gained just more fat, maybe you ate a ton more calories over a period of time and it's more of a slower situation, like that is different than weight that's from inflammation that is coming from more of an internal root cause. And this is the thing, inflammation is there for a reason. Like inflammation is our body's coping mechanism to fight whatever it's fighting. So, this is why people can gain weight from high cortisol. this is a lot of times inflammation in the body, right? Or if you have, people find that when they have GI problems, right? So you have really bad bacterial overgrowth, and they put on weight, and they don't realize it's because of the GI issue. And then people drop weight when they address their gut health, and that was like inflammation weight because their body was inflamed, their cortisol was up, their body was fighting it.
And it's like when people think they're fat, but they're not, like you're actually just bloated, and like bloating is inflammation. And so people are trying to like lose weight and do like crunches and all this stuff, but their stomach is never going to change because that's inflammation. It's not fat.
Yeah.
So
I feel like for me, it's like it happens in areas like if I was just like putting on weight, I don't know. I feel like you can feel it. It comes on faster and leaves faster for me than if it was just like pure weight. And also it's like, I can tell, like when I was just explaining before how my inflammation has gone down just this past week, like my fingers are less swollen. Like my wrist is smaller. I didn't lose weight. Like I didn't do you know what I mean? From doing anything, I didn't change anything. So to me, it's like usually inflammation weight, you can kind of tell it's like if you didn't change anything in your life and you feel like you're putting on weight, that's probably inflammation versus like if something changed, like if you've been eating more food or working out more, like if you made a change and then that changing your body composition, that's a different type of weight. Does that make sense?
I also feel like it comes on a lot more suddenly. Inflammation weight does. It's something that like you kind of wake up one day and you're like, where did this come from? Or maybe you notice it like start to accumulate over a week and you're like, what's going on? Like it's kind of startling to you. Like you really notice it. Whether then if you just gained weight, it's usually going to be a little bit more progressive because truly like body fat is more gaining body fat is a more progressive thing. You don't just gain like 5 pounds of body fat in a night. If you gain 5 pounds overnight, you probably gained 5 pounds of fluid from inflammation. Or something like that, or you just didn't poop yet, whatever. But
yeah. And it's also not always just like one or the other. Like a lot of times people put on weight and it's like actual weight, I guess. I mean, they're both actual weight, but also inflammation. It's like they go together a lot of times. Like if you find someone who's overweight, it's usually because they have this underlying inflammation and something else could be going on. So it's not like it's just one or the other. But if you gain weight and it's kind of like that feeling of like, I didn't do anything different, what happened to me, that's usually inflammation. And for me, I notice it a lot in my face, and I feel like it's just like in my extremities. It's like my whole body versus like if I just like put on more weight because I was like overeating for a long period of time and probably go into specific areas more so.
Yeah. No,
if that makes sense.
I know exactly what you mean. And I think this comes back to, once again, you need to start paying attention to your body and being like an investigator on your own body. Start journaling about like what you're feeling, take pictures. That's how I knew that it was inflammation weight, when I looked back on a picture of myself and I was like, oh my God, I'm not fat. I am just inflamed. Like I looked inflamed. You can just see it. So even if that like terrifies you, it's just good to get some data on yourself. But yeah, there is no one or the other because they go together. They really do go together. Gaining body fat is usually a sign of inflammation, and inflammation can lead you to gain body fat. They're very interconnected, but at the same time, you can feel a difference. So I think you just need to start paying attention to how you're feeling.
Yeah. And also I think it's important to recognize what the root is, because, sometimes people will say, okay, I've gained weight. Right? What do I do? And if it's important if it's inflammation, then it's usually not addressing what usually people think to address first. So usually they think, okay, I need to fix my diet and my workout routine. I need to adjust that. If it's inflammation, you need to go figure out the root cause, which is usually some kind of hormonal imbalance, GI issue, cortisol response. How is your lifestyle? Like it's those tweaks that you make, like you work on the internal stuff, and then the inflammation weight just melts off.
I completely agree. That's what happened to
yeah.
me too. A lot for me, my inflammation weight, it had to do with more my emotional state and my stress. I feel like that
Mm-hmm.
has a huge impact on a lot of people's actual like inflammation weight. Um, and for me, well, and the alcohol, I just had to like stop drinking alcohol for a period of time. If you're still drinking alcohol and you feel very inflamed a lot, I would just say stop right now. You're not helping that at all. So I had to cut that out. And then I had to address my stress in my life. And I started really seeing a huge correlation between when I'm really stressed out and emotionally I'm not very balanced and I just feel very anxious and like sad and having a lot of episodes of that, I felt more inflamed. My joints were inflamed. My face was swollen. It's like, you know, when you cry a lot and your face and your eyelids are like super swollen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't even crying, but
Exactly.
it looked like I was. Like that's a stress response. So look at that too. And like really, like Christina said, dig to the root issue of the inflammation. Don't just rush to like, I have to adjust, I have to work out more, and I have to like eat clean. Like really look at
Mm-hmm.
the root cause of your inflammation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay, this
You had
last
another
part,
question.
this is like a meaty question.
Oh,
um,
it is
okay.
meaty, but I feel like I could get it. We could get it down.
Okay. So she wants to know, how do you know if you exercise too much? Um, here, I'll let you go.
Okay. I think, first of all, we have about the same body type. I was like looking at your thing and I'm like, we're basically the same body type. But, anyways, if you are feeling good and like it looks like you actually have a really good mindset about working out, you're like, I only do it because I want to, not because I feel bad about myself or anything like that. And if you're truly doing it from that purpose, then I think you are doing really good. Like you're on a right path with your exercise. And it sounds like you're really listening to your body as well. But at the same time, I went through a period of my life where I was working out 5 to 6 days a week and doing a lot of high intensity interval training and weights and all of the things. And I was doing it because I wanted to, not from like guilt or anything like that. But I still was over exercising. And after doing that for a long period of time, it wasn't even a long period of time. It was 3 weeks. After doing that for 3 weeks, my adrenals like taxed and I kind of just fell apart. Like after 3 weeks of doing that. So I think every body is different. I probably have different things going on than you. So I couldn't sustain that type of lifestyle. But I think this is, once again, a time to sit back and reflect. So take a couple minutes after your workout to reflect how you're actually feeling after your workout. Are you exhausted? Do you feel really good? Like you could work out again? Like how is your energy? Like gauge that after your workout and then gauge how that carries throughout the entire day. I know if I work out too hard, then I become more fatigued throughout the day and I'm a little bit more irritable and on edge because my adrenals are not doing so good because I'm over exercising. So really gauge how it's making you feel and then do like a weekly check-in with yourself, like at the end of the week, because you're working out a lot, like 5 to 6 days a week. So check in with yourself and be like, how did I feel overall this week? Good? Okay. Move on. Like to the next week. I would just kind of take it like a step at a time and just gauge when you need to step back. I don't know a whole lot about exercise. I really just go off of how I'm feeling, and I didn't do that in the past. In the past, I was just, you know how you see the stuff on Instagram that it's just like hustle even when you don't want to, like grind, get up at 5 a.m., go to the gym kind of stuff. Yeah, I did that, and I just went even when I was tired just because I wanted to. But you don't have to do that. So just pay attention. Are you like forcing yourself to go work out because you want to, but you're actually really tired? Like start listening to the cues that you get in your body. And I don't think you will exhaust yourself.
Okay. So, okay. I have so many things to say about this. First of all, it like Kara said, first of all, everybody has a different tolerance level for how much exercise they can tolerate. So some people, and this is something that's really hard for people to wrap their heads around when they are over exercising and somebody tells them that they need to slow it down, because they say, well, so-and-so can do it and she's fine. She works out 5 days, and everybody is different. So some people literally more than 3 days a week, that's just overtaxing their system. Other people are really well conditioned. They have no other life stressors. They can do 5 to 6 days a week. So it depends. Every stressor in our life goes into one stress bucket, right? If somebody is working all the time, has stressful relationships, has body image issues, they're stressed out, they can't tolerate other stressors, and they can probably tolerate less exercise than somebody else who, like, has everything else in check, the rest of their lifestyle in check. Also, it's like people who have grown up being athletes and are always really, athletic and have been working out for a long time usually can handle more than somebody else, like it just comes down to body type as well and what you can handle. So there's that. That being said, it also depends what you're doing. So you say you do a combination of yoga, hiking, weights, and HIIT. Cool. So it's like, somebody who's doing yoga every day is going to be able to work out more often than somebody who only does weights. Like it's different there. Like it depends what you're doing. But I think the other aspect to this is that not everybody is always completely in tune with if they feel good with it still. Like sometimes your body isn't doing well with it, but you really like it. So you really truly think that it's fine with you. And it's not, I think, but I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying sometimes people lie to themselves about it. I think that what I want to say, though, is nobody should be exercising 7 days a week. You need at least one rest day. And there's something called like CNS fatigue or CNS overtraining. So your central nervous system is involved every time you exercise. If you are constantly like overloading your central nervous system and it never has days to recover, then it can basically fry out, and months, years down the line, you will be fried. Your CNS will be fried. So that's completely different than this is why people run into these issues where they reach adrenal problems like years down the line because they've been working out too long and they felt fine. Their body was fine. They didn't have the signs of overtraining in terms of like their muscles, or feeling fatigued then, but it was their central nervous system that got fried down the line. And especially as women, we want to make sure we're not doing too much because this can have underlying like hormonal effects that you're not recognizing. So it's like, even if your body feels good, you feel like you have a lot of energy. How is your period? How are your cycles? How is your appetite? Are you hungry all the time? And like Kara said, like your mood, are you irritable? Things like that. I think that, it's hard for me to know because I would want to know what's the ratio of yoga to hiking to weights to HIIT. Like HIIT shouldn't be done frequently. What are your other life stressors like? Maybe you totally can do 6 days a week. There are definitely people who can work out 6 days a week, but there are also definitely people who can only handle 2 or 3 days. There are some people who their sweet spot is 4 to 5. Like it's different. And I don't know because I don't know how much if you're doing 4 days of weights and 2 days of HIIT, no, that's too much to do long term. It's also different. Some people never take weeks off. So sometimes people work out really hard and then they have a few deloading weeks. They treat it like a season, like an athlete, and then that helps get everything kind of back in check and back in balance. What I do want to say though, is you sent us a question about inflammation and then wondering how to know if you're working out too much. And just the fact that you sent in these questions, I'm wondering, all right, is that little voice in the back of your head wondering, is this me? Is this happening to me? And you're saying you never guilt yourself into it. And maybe you're not. Maybe it's not coming from a place of like, I have to work out. But that doesn't mean that, I'm wondering if you're noticing other things in your body that are making you question if it's too much. Are you inflamed from extra weight? And that's why you send in the question to begin with. So that's just, and I don't know, because I don't know more about you. I could be completely off base. But these are also things, I mean, just the fact that you sent in the question is something to think about, you know?
That's exactly what I was going to say. These two are just so hand in hand. Over-exercising and inflammation, it's ridiculous. Like when I over-exercise for my body, I feel that inflammation weight, like we were just talking about, and it's a stress response. So it's all going to go together. And okay, like Christina said, I really like what she said. Like nobody should be working out 7 days a week. The thing is, I don't think people understand what a workout means. Like they'll go on a super long hike, like for 2 hours, and it's like a bunch of hills and all this stuff. And they're like, that was my rest day. And I'm like, that's not a hike, like a very long and like hard hike like that. That's a workout. Like that's not a rest day. That's still a workout. And that doesn't mean that you sit on your couch and be a lazy person all day long. That just means like you're doing some less intense movement. You're like still moving. You can walk, you can do all of that. You can stretch, you can do some functional type movement, but you're not doing a workout. Like I don't think people understand the difference between a true rest day and a workout. Like they're still trying to work out on their rest day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is something that really grinds my gears. People will be like, active rest day doing a hike, active rest day doing yoga. I'm like, that's still a workout. It's just a low impact workout. And even just walking. So I feel like I have to clarify this a lot. Everyone knows I love my walks. There are different types of walks. There's like power walking. That's like a workout walk. And there's just like walking like casually. Like when Kara and I go on walks, I'm not sweating. Like I'm not pumping, we're just like walking and talking. Not out of breath, very casual. You know what I mean?
It's so funny because Corey and I were on a walk today, and like today's my rest day. Like I go to the gym and I work out 4 to 5 times a week, and then I do not work out on weekends. Like no. And so we went to walk, and we're walking around the Arbor Trails, and he's like, "Come on, Kara, let's go." And he's like trying to power walk.
Yeah, you're like, no.
I'm like, Corey, no. I was like, this is my rest day. I was like, I'm not power walking. And he was like, exactly. What do you mean? He goes, we're just walking. He was like, we're just walking. What do you mean we can't power? He was like, come on, we need to get some sweat in. We need to I'm like, chill out. Like, just take a step back. Let's relax. Let's actually talk. Like you need to do relaxing, like type movement on your rest days and not try to power through everything. I know it's hard not to. Our culture wants to power through life all the time, but you don't need to do that. You just don't.
Yeah, it's like you can turn a walk into a workout or just a casual walk. It's all about how it's affecting your central nervous system, honestly. And it's the same with yoga. People will say, "Oh, well, I did a rest day because it was yoga." Well, what kind of yoga are you doing? Like I've done yoga before. I'm literally basically just sitting on the floor, like breathing and like stretching. That is different than when you're doing flows for an hour,
yeah.
It's all very different. So I think just kind of,
And I wonder if she's doing multiple in the same day, because I know a lot of people who say like, I switch it up. I do yoga, I do HIIT, I do weights, but they're doing like weights in the morning plus a yoga session at night. Like, know what I mean?
Too much.
Or cardio, like they go on a hike and then they do a lifting session later on in the day or something like that. And if that's the case for you and you're working out 5 to 6 days per week, I definitely think you are over-exercising. If that's the case, if you're doing like multiple in the same day. But if you're truly switching it up, like you say that you are, and you're just kind of going off how your body is feeling, you may or may not be. May or may not be.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes back to, it depends. It's like, goes back to like how long, are you doing an hour and a half workout 5 to 6 days a week? That's a lot. Are you doing a 20-minute workout 5 to 6 days a week? That's different. It's all very much, it depends sort of thing. But I think just keeping in mind what the effects it's having on our central nervous system, and hormones. And the quick answer to, like, could you be doing harm to your body that you don't know about? Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it's not, no, maybe you're not. I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about you. But it definitely is possible, because this is what happens when people wake up and they're 45 and they have a ton of inflammation weight and they don't know what happened. And it was because all those years of overtraining, they felt great. They felt fine. They felt good. They just didn't know what was happening to their hormones at the time. And I also get this resistance. A lot of the clients I see are in their 20s or, late teens, and most of them are overtraining. And when we're working on pulling back on the exercise, they say, well, so-and-so works out 5 to 6 days a week, or 6 or 7 days, and she feels fine. She doesn't have these issues. Like, how come she can do it? Well, first of all, so-and-so is not you. Second of all, you don't know what her health information is, how you don't know what her hormones and her cortisol levels are like. You also don't know what she's going to be like in 10 years. Okay. Like, and this is all about preventative. And this is why this is a big reason why Kara and I are so passionate about putting this health information out there. And I mean, we want to reach everybody, but I especially want to reach this younger demographic, because people are not motivated until shit hits the fan. People are not motivated until it's too late. And like, if we can just get things in check right now and prevent it, imagine if you just get your life in check when you're younger, prevent it, then you won't wake up and all of these things that we think of as part of getting older, they won't happen. You'll still maintain a great weight for your body as you get older. You won't have hormonal issues when you're 50. You probably will have better menopause. You'll live a longer life. Like, you won't have heart disease and cancer. Like, all of these things all come back to now and prevention. So yeah, short answer is sometimes we do stuff that we think we're fine with now, and then years down the line, we're not.
Preach. Literally.
Yeah. Sorry, just went on a rant. Like,
no, I love it.
I mean, yeah. So
I have one closing thought.
Yeah.
I have one. I think if you really want to find out, just pull back. Literally, just take a week or two, probably 2. Take 2 weeks where you pull back and you lessen the intensity of your workouts. Maybe you only do high intensity or more intense style workouts for 2 days of the week or 3 days of the week, and then the other 2 or 3 days you're doing super low intense stuff. Like, literally just pull back for a couple weeks and assess how you feel. You'll most likely honestly find that you feel better. And if you don't feel any better, or you maybe even feel worse, then go back to what you were doing. Like, it's not hard. You just have to do some self-experimentation to figure it out. But don't be afraid to pull back. You should not be afraid. Just try it out. If you're afraid, then that's a sign that you should be, because this is all, there's also a mental, emotional piece to this. Like it should be, because if anyone is afraid to pull back, then that is kind of a sign of being addicted to it, and it doesn't matter if it's too much for your body. Like even if it's not too much for your body, if you're emotionally addicted to it, like, that's not good either, Yep. So I feel for anyone listening, sorry, this is like a hot topic. I just want everybody to take care of themselves so they don't wake up in 5 years and be like, what did I do? I wish I knew, I know. So I agree. But then again, I also, there are people who can work out 5 to 6 days a week, do it for their whole lives and be fine. That's not, that can also be the case. So, it's very individual. That's all I have to say. But you can just kind of take everything that we said and apply it a little bit and just try and pull back and see how you feel. That's really all you can do. All you can do is try and pull back. Okay, I think we killed it. Yeah, we nailed it. Boom. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this. Please share, leave a rating and review on iTunes if you want to support us. It helps out a lot. And yeah, helps so much. Yeah, we want to hear more from you. Join our Facebook group. Straight Up Paleo Pals. It's the place to be. Faux show. But okay, I think we will see you guys next Thursday. All right, talk then. Bye. Bye.